Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're running a business, you know that numbers are everything, right? They tell a story. But the big question is, are you reading that story correctly? Today, we are going to dive into one of the most powerful tools in your entire business toolkit, your financial statements. Let's get right into it.
I mean, this is a question that pops into almost every entrepreneur's head at some point. You're so busy with the day-to-day running the actual business that it's easy to wonder, are these formal documents really necessary for me? Well, the short answer is a big yes. And by the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly why, and more importantly, what kind you might need.
All right, so first things first, let's start with the absolute basics. Before we get into all the different types and who's using them, we need to be crystal clear on what we're actually talking about here.
Okay, at their core, financial statements are so much more than just a pile of numbers on a page. I want you to think of them like a professional report card for your business. Their whole purpose is to give you reliable and accurate info, which makes them an absolutely essential tool for making smart, strategic decisions.
Now, here's a really key shift in thinking that I want you to make. Financial statements, they aren't just for you. They are the main way you communicate the financial story of your business to some very, very important people. So let's take a look at who's reading your story.
This right here is a huge point. So many business owners just think of these statements as this annoying thing you have to do once a year to file your taxes. But honestly, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Their real power is in helping you plan, minimize your liabilities, and really support those big picture decisions all year long.
So who exactly is this audience? Well, first you've got your managers. They're using these statements to steer the ship day to day. Then there's you, the owner, using them to track how profitable you are and if you're growing. And so crucially, you have banks or other creditors. They rely on these big time to decide if they should lend you money. Each group is looking for something a little different, but they all need that same clear, reliable information.
Okay, so you get it. You need them. But which kind? This is where it gets really interesting, because believe it or not all financial statements are created equal. They come with what we call different levels of assurance, which is just a fancy way of saying how much confidence someone can have in your numbers. Let's break down the three main types.
This table really lays it all out for us. On one end of the spectrum, you have the audit. That's the highest level of assurance, usually for serious stuff like investors. In the middle, you've got the review, a nice balanced option for things like bank loans. And finally, the notice to reader, which has no formal assurance, but is perfect for your own internal use and of course for filing taxes. Now let's dig into each one a little deeper.
All right, the audit. This is the gold standard, no question. When somebody, an investor, a bank, needs to be absolutely certain about your financial position, this is the report they're going to ask for. It's a really deep, methodical look at your company's books.
Yeah, an audit is not just a quick glance, it's a whole process. The accountant will actually review your internal systems for how you handle money. They'll test specific transactions to make sure they're real, and they'll even contact third parties, like calling your bank, just to confirm balances. It is incredibly thorough.
And here's the real goal of all that work. The accountant issues a report saying whether your financial statements are free of material misstatements, which, is just professional speak for significant errors. An audit gives the highest possible degree of confidence that your numbers are solid.
Now, an audit is fantastic, but let's be real, it can be time-consuming and pretty expensive. For a lot of businesses, a review engagement really hits that sweet spot. It provides a good level of assurance without the full intensity and cost of an audit. Let's see how it works.
So a review is less about testing every single little detail and more about analysis and just asking questions to see if the numbers make sense. The accountant isn't giving a formal thumbs up like in an audit, but they are providing a moderate level of assurance that, based on their work, the information seems plausible.
Okay, this phrase, negative form of communication, can be a little confusing, but the explanation makes it super simple. In a review, the accountant isn't saying, yes, we confirm everything is 100% correct. What they're saying is, based on a review, nothing has come to our attention that would make us believe these statements are wrong. It's a really subtle but super important distinction. And last but not least, we have the most common type of financial statement for many owner-managed businesses. It's often called a compilation, and that's because that's exactly what the accountant is doing. They're just compiling your data. This is probably the most important phrase to get when it comes to a notice to reader. It means that the numbers and all the information in that report, that's all your data as the business owner. The accountant has simply taken what you've given them and put it into the proper financial statement format. They express zero opinion and provide zero assurance on the numbers. It's purely a compilation. So there we have it, our three types of statements. But no matter which one you go with, there is one critical little detail about how they're actually put together that you absolutely need to know.
You see, you can't just prepare these statements in any random order. There's a required sequence, and that's because they're all interconnected. For example, the net income from your income statement literally carries over and becomes part of the balance sheet. If you get this order wrong, it can cause this huge domino effect of errors, which, frankly, is why having a pro handle it is so important.
So let's bring this all home.
I really hope by now you can see that we've moved way past thinking of financial statements as just some boring compliance document you have to file every year. There's so much more.
Ultimately, when they're prepared the right way, these statements become one of your most valuable strategic tools. They give you this clear, objective view of your business's health, and that empowers you to make smarter, more confident decisions about where you're going to go next. And really, that's the final thought I want to leave you with. Your financial statements are telling a story, whether you're listening to it or not. So the question is, are you actually using them to understand that story and to write the next chapter for your business? Thanks so much for tuning in.